All right, hey, what's up, guys? It is March 12th, 4:30 on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Tyler and I today.
Yep.
The other two are out of town, so we're gonna do a little quick episode and hopefully knock out some cool conversation. This is Cool Hats and Consistency.
Not even losing half of our
No,
consistency.
It's well,
Could
you know, I
stop
guess.
us.
Hey, at least I have a hat on. You don't.
Yeah.
Have one
Oh
on.
well, it's there. It's near me. I gotta put it on.
Yeah, as long as they're near you,
Mhm.
that's what counts.
Don't ruin the immersion.
They should know. They're the listeners.
They're assuming
If you're a listener and you don't know what's going on,
We're
what you
wearing
can't see,
hats.
then how do they trust us? They've got to
Yeah.
trust us.
they have
as
to
human
trust that
beings.
we would never not wear a hat.
Okay. So the topic from last week we talked about was, or bringing into this week was spring break. I kind of ended that was like one of my favorite college memories was
Mhm.
going on all those spring breaks, and I think that'd be a
Remember
good segue into something. And we're not necessarily going to share things like crazy ass stories, but things that we want to do in the future and things we did in the past and things we, what we liked and what we didn't like, things that we would have, if I knew now from what my experiences were at the time, tell myself in the past, say, hey,
What would you tell yourself?
don't do this shit because it's going to be horrible.
Are we tied
kinda
to
thing.
college again?
It could be any time. I mean, I went on spring break in high school too.
Well,
And I've been
just
on-
spring. So it's
I guess
it's-
what I mean by spring break is the trip in like mid-March to mid-April. If you took a trip in that month time period, that's what I mean by spring break.
what I'm saying is, are we tying it to simply wisdom about spring break?
Anything you
Okay.
want to share? I mean, like that's the big part of this.
Okay,
You can start it off. I mean, this is
wisdom, huh?
well, it can be anything. It can be whatever the hell you want it to be. But
Well,
what's a trip that you've taken in your I would say later years,
in my later years, after college, I think I've
even in college? What's
you
one
know
that
I think
took?
I've been on better trips after college.
Okay,
frankly.
what's one you went on after college?
I think the year that I saved up enough money to visit you twice in the same year
Yeah,
out
that
in
was
Nevada,
pretty crazy.
that was probably better than any time in spring break during college.
You did that. Well, actually, didn't you visit 3 times? I think you visited 3
I think
times.
I think I visited spring and fall break
You
of the
did it-
same year.
You also did, and then is either the first year? Okay, I think the very
was-
first year when we were in the house, it was 2015. You came for 4th of July,
hmm
and then
That
and then the next year you visited twice.
Weren't you in an apartment before that? I don't know.
Did you ever visit our first apartment
I think so.
with John?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I did. I remember that. That was pretty cool. You had the weird pool section out back, and
Oh yeah.
that was my first time really being to Nevada.
But that was in the fall.
I think it was in the fall. It could have been spring break.
You did actually almost everything but winter.
I
You
think
did everything
I think
but
every
winter.
fall and spring break, 3 in a row, fall, spring, fall. I made it out to Nevada, and then you moved out.
Those were for 3 years. So I mean, it was a long ass time. Those were good
Other than
trips.
the last 3, fall, spring, fall.
What I liked about those was like even being in, like I lived there,
Mm-hmm.
but when you live in a city, you don't go do the things you'd go do like on a normal weekend basis. When
Of course.
when you see it all the time, like I saw it, whatever, it's a strip. I see it all the time. I drive by it every single day. It does not faze me that it's there.
That's the kind of wisdom that I actually wanted to tie into it. Not exactly related to Nevada, but kind of vacation fatigue, as it were.
Oh yeah,
The more times you've seen the ocean, the less spectacular it becomes. All you hear in where we live is, "Oh, I want to go lay on the beach. I just want to lay in the sun." As a group of people, you and I, who spent most years in our childhood on a beach in the summer for a good portion of the summer, yeah, it's great. But been there, done that. I don't feel driven to lay out in the sun. You know.
well, oh God, I can't hate laying out in the sun. The beach is a good. I mean,
The beach is good. It's great. It's good for what it is. But the amount of people who are like, man, we're gonna go to St. Bart's and we're gonna be on the beach and we're gonna get drunk. I'm like, I did that. I've been there for years.
well, you're just adding alcohol to the
Yeah.
equation, which makes anything amazing.
yeah. So when you were
You
a kid,
can-
you saw movies, but now that you can drink alcohol, let's see a
You're like,
movie with alcohol.
Let's get drunk while we watch the movie. Yes.
Whole different story.
What's
there.
something you enjoyed from any of those trips? I mean, that's
Which one? The
let's say
Nevada one, or
let's say
or
the
when we were a
first
kid?
one to Vegas. You're the first time you'd ever been in the city. when
mean,
I
that-
picked you up for the first time. I'd only been there for not even a year.
Yeah, probably less than a year. I remember that one of the biggest things, and since that wasn't the first time I'd been out west, and there's a stark contrast between where we live and out west.
That was spring break. The first time you came out was spring break.
But that wasn't the first time I'd been out west. I'd been in Utah before that, the spring break before.
Yeah.
And we went skiing in Utah.
Where'd you go there?
Skiing?
No, where?
I don't
Was it Bryan
remember.
Head?
Probably.
You don't even know.
It was up in the mountains. I didn't drive or arrange
So you
it.
drove out of Salt Lake, right?
Mhm.
Then there's no way you went to Bryan Head. That's like 4.5 hours away.
Okay, so it wasn't that then. But I don't remember that. That was 3 or 4 years ago now. I don't remember vividly that trip. But the Nevada coming out there, that was a spring break. Technically, it was interesting to see how not arid everyone made it out to be.
What do you mean?
The pop culture references make Nevada out to be a desert and the Strip, and this whole idea that you created.
It's kind of that.
I mean, it isn't though. Henderson, that city that
well,
you
yeah,
lived
yeah.
in outside of the Strip,
yeah.
was really cool in the sense that it felt way more real. You could actually enjoy the state for what it was and not have to rely heavily on the Strip. Like, we went to the Strip a lot with me coming out there, and that was neat, but I didn't really feel great about the Strip because I didn't feel like a tourist. I felt like a visitor, partially because at the end of the day, we had to go back somewhere. We didn't go to a hotel room.
Right.
It was interesting to see it from the eyes of a person who, at the end of the day, has a house with a driveway and a refrigerator, and not just like, well, we're gonna visit the buffet later, and then we'll go gamble some more.
That is exactly what I tell people when I move back. They're like, "Why'd you move back? Vegas is crazy." I'm like, "Yeah,
Vegas
but you're
is
looking at
crazy?
it. You're looking at it from a perspective of
a 3-day city.
yes, I'm there every day, every weekend, every month for years, and it gets old. It gets tiring. And although it's amazing, I love the city. I had a great time. I have a ton of friends there, and I had a blast when you guys came out, and
Yeah.
it was good. But like, so what I would do was before you would come out, I'd know you were coming out and stuff. I wouldn't go do anything on the Strip for months, because I'm like, I'm gonna save this up for when people come and visit. So when they come out here, I get to view it through their perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm also doing this with you, and I haven't been here for months. So then it's not like I'm just like dragging my feet, like, fuck, this fucking sucks. I hate this. I don't want to be here at all.
You're the tour guide instead
Yes.
of the
And no offense to our sister, but that's kind of how I felt when I was
Mm-hmm.
when she showed up. Like, I was just dragging them around. I mean, I had fun with them at times, her and Ashley, but it just felt like I was just like their personal chauffeur, and I
essentially you gave them a place to sleep for free.
no, but like it got to the point where I was like literally just they were getting trashed, and I was just driving them because they came during the week, so I was still having to go to work.
Yeah.
So I would go out them at night, just like when you were there.
Mm-hmm.
But then you would come back at a reasonable hour. They'd be like, we're going to stay out. I'm like, then you're taking an Uber home. Like, it's 1 in the morning. I have to go to work in 5 hours. So yeah,
I like sleeping. I don't care. Like, vacations are vacations, but at the end of the day, if I don't feel rested, then what was the point?
exactly.
I'm
Otherwise, just stay home and do a staycation.
Yeah.
And do that. So, I mean, what's one of the crazy things we did? Did we go out to? We never went out to Nelson's Landing.
well,
We saw Red Rock. You saw that.
I mean, we've made trips over spring break to do rock jumping. It's not like
Well, you didn't do. But you didn't do. You didn't.
we didn't do Nelson's Landing, and I'm sure that was higher, but it's
Well,
nothing like, okay. I wouldn't say I'm afraid of heights, but
You would have done it.
I probably would have done it in the moment. We went out on the 4th of July, which wasn't technically spring break, but it was kind of like spring summer. We floated around in Lake Mead. That was pretty fun. Though I
Oh
would
my
say
god, that was a blast. We drank those. What do we call them?
dirty
We
Coronas.
took dirty Coronas. You take what is it? You take
We took
Bacardi
some kind of
Limon.
Bacardi rum.
Bacardi Limon. I think
I
it's
think
the
it was
lemon.
lemon. Mhm.
Yeah, and then you pour that into. You drink like a third of the
We drink the
Corona.
neck.
You drink the neck.
You drink the neck
pour
of a
that,
Corona.
You kind of shake. You kind of do this. You kind of like turn
Turn
it upside
upside
down.
down.
It mixes the whole thing. We were so.
It's deceptive because,
We each had
there's-
what 6?
well,
Trash.
there's already a mixer kind of in the rum in that it's the lime flavor. Then that lime gets compounded with the
lemon.
Corona flavor. Well, whatever.
Whatever.
It's hard to actually taste the amount of rum that's in it. And that's about a shot per beer.
Yeah. About a
So
shot.
if you're doing a shot and a beer every
We killed that fifth.
10,
We killed
15
I
minutes.
mean, we drank everything.
Whew.
We were drunk as shit.
Yeah.
It was great. I mean, I had a blast out there when you were there. You know, and at the time when that was going on, actually, so that time would have been, I don't know if that was a time with John. It kind of all, you were there so many times, it just kind of all blurred.
I don't think John was there. If John was
John,
there, he wasn't.
John rarely did things with you and me. Like
Mm-hmm.
he rarely did stuff with. He was always busy with other things going on, and he'd rather, he was at the like that was at the tail end of his year being there. So
Mm-hmm.
he was kind of like, I'm ready to just move back and be done. Which great for him. But, I mean, if he's listening, I'm not insulting him, but
Well, he should have made
that
time to come out.
But he wasn't. He was like, I'm tired. I'm focusing on work, and then
Sure.
focusing on getting back to Indiana, which is cool. We still had a good time. We still
Part
went
of
out and did stuff. The when you were there, I mean that was probably that and like going to teach you to gamble, the different gamblings that we did.
Oh, that was kind of cool too. The real Vegas experience wasn't the hotels because we didn't stay in the hotels. Wasn't like the fountains or
Well, you
the
saw all
people. I mean, we saw them, but it was like, okay.
Did you like the shows? We saw the
shows-
first one. The first video we saw was the Beatles, the Love Beatles.
We never saw the Beatles. That was you and Dad.
I thought you and I saw that too. No, we saw the water one.
We saw the water one.
What's that one? That was called Le Rev.
Le Rev. It was
Yeah.
the knockoff.
It was not a knockoff. It was
well,
$90
no.
for tickets.
It's not knockoff.
It wasn't.
But it was.
It wasn't. It was through the. It was at
through the hotel. The Win.
the Win. Yes.
Not the.
It was just a different thing. It was the
what is-
same.
Cirque du Soleil.
It wasn't Cirque du Soleil.
Soleil.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
it a Cirque du Soleil?
No, it was not.
Okay. Well, I mean,
They have one too. It's called the O.
yeah. So the O was sold out or way more expensive. So we
It
did
was
the
like, it
Rev.
was like 30 or 40 more a person.
Yeah. Well, we want.
Which isn't shocking at all.
No, but I think that's mostly the namesake.
People. I mean, the shows that I've seen there, that was probably one of my favorite. I liked that one more than I liked the Beatles one. Although they're
Really?
both good, I'd give them an A and an A minus. But I'm saying I actually like that.
Actually,
one more.
I don't think the Le Rev was our first one. I remember because Dad bought us tickets to a
the
really he bought us a really weird Cirque du Soleil show where there were like bird
Oh!
people and the giant baby.
Oh my God! Yes, that was what was that called?
I don't remember.
We'll have to look it up.
That was the first one. I remember being.
You're like we walked out. You're like, this sucked.
I was like, holy shit, that was a lot of money, and I have no idea what just happened.
the second time you came, we saw.
I think that's
Blue
what we
Man
saw.
Group.
And no, I never saw Blue Man Group either.
Which one did you, I'm there? I've seen so many.
You saw Blue Man Group right before I came out with Dad.
again with that. So that what I
And
know
you didn't
and I
want to
saw-
see it again.
I know you and I saw Penn and Teller.
We saw Penn and Teller the third time.
What was this? What was your
Second time was Le Rev. And first
And the
time
first
was
time was
that,
that bird thing.
baby.
I went to Google
bird.
It. Fucking what's whatever.
We'll figure it out later.
Yeah, whatever.
We'll put it in.
I think. Oh no, it's called Mystere. Mystere. Yeah.
Mystery.
It's got that like apostrophe over the R
Yeah.
E and the R, whatever the hell.
Could you tell me the story of the events? No. If I was okay, so like this is maybe more morphing into less spring break and more.
It doesn't matter. Trips in general, people. That's
Vegas,
what we're talking about.
Vegas secrets. It
I mean,
feels like
that's it. It kind of was a spring break because when you become an adult,
spring break is whenever
spring break
you
can
get
be
a
whatever
break.
the fuck you want because it's like
It's the concept.
it's yeah. The term spring break does not mean it is in spring.
Mm-hmm.
It is originated in high school. The term is originated in high school and becomes engraved in your brain because in the spring you get a week or so off.
Mm-hmm.
So that term becomes like saying, I'm taking a trip. When you become an adult and that rolls into your adult years, you still call it that because you're saying, I'm taking a vacation at this time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a spring break, if you will, quote unquote. That's the way I view it. I still call it that, even though I'm working now. I take, like for example, I'm going to Cancun in less than 2 weeks. I've been calling that
Was it 26th?
the 22nd is our flight. It's 10 days from today. It's a week from Wednesday. We fly out. It's a direct flight. Anyway, so yeah, those were great. I mean, we had a ton of great memories. The hike in the Red Rocks was really cool. You took home that
Bottle.
bottle of where the hell is it? Does it work?
Oh, it's
No, it's over there. It's over there. The and then
Collecting sand.
we have the rocks.
we saw the rocks.
We saw the Grand Canyon, which was
interesting.
I
really
love
like
it.
that.
I have
You've been then to the same side, haven't you?
yeah.
That was the second time.
I've been there twice. I went there originally the first time with Kelsey and Kylie that came out. In between the 2 times that you came out, the first and the second time that you came out, and then I had so much fun. And it was so cool that I was like, "Hey, you're back here. Let's go again." kind of thing. So yeah, it's beautiful there. I mean,
That was the-
my phone background has been that for
For a long
God
time.
over a year.
Yeah.
the Grand Canyon, it's beautiful. I'd love to see the north and the east part. I don't know if there's a south part that you can go see. I don't think there is.
I haven't heard of it at the very least.
Well, I remember at the time when Kylie and Kelsey came to visit, and they were like, we want to go to the Grand Canyon, and I'm like, my original mind frame was, isn't that like 5 hours away? And they're like, no, it's like 2.5 maybe.
The drive wasn't that bad.
And so we looked it up. If you do go like certain times of the week, like on a Sunday when there's no traffic on those roads, going into Arizona, I mean, you can do it in less than 2 hours. You can hour 45 easy because you can speed. But you know, it going out there was kind of it altered my perspective. It was one of those moments, like it was one of those trips, like even doing it twice. It was one of those things that I loved so much. It just like changed my perspective on life. It was like you're seeing something. You were so incredibly small compared to where we're standing right now. I didn't like the U glass.
Really,
one.
because I was about to say that I really did enjoy
Oh.
that. The
To each
people,
their own.
the people ruined it.
They did, but
It didn't go out quite as far as I think it should have.
Mm-hmm.
Still really cool
Structurally, I know why it didn't.
because they didn't want to put like supports.
Exactly. So you could only go out so far because all the supports at the base against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
What I wish they would have done is, if you're going to do that, where they put it, it wasn't like when you look down through the glass, it's not a good view.
You mostly
see
get
it's
the
just-
wall.
It's just the wall. You can literally walk and pay nothing extra and walk 100 yards, not even 100 yards, to the left or the right, and the view is 100 times better.
Funny how that works.
It is weird. That's weird. But God, that scared the crap
That was
out
their
of me.
main pull.
They're like,
Because
spend the money.
yeah, they had that shitty little
I'm not spending that
like cowboy
And
town.
then here I am. I spent it twice.
I'm not paying for this. That was
Oh yeah, totally. Spent it
that was
twice.
that was a lot of money.
It was. I mean, but you're mostly paying for the bus fare to jump between the three sides, and then the cowboy
The cowboy town was
the
awesome.
cowboy town.
So you're in Arizona, yeah. So of course there has to be a cowboy town. and
of
it's-
course.
There's max 8 to 10 buildings, which is a loose term. More like
It looked like a carnival.
you had just set up in the middle of the desert,
Uh-huh.
and there were just wood walls
They're just there,
painted to look like buildings.
but there was no rides.
There was a jail. Well, there was rides. Technically, there was a bull.
We did the
Bull
the
ride,
the bull
yeah.
rides, yeah. I still have that. That's a good video.
That's a good video.
Did you still have your video?
Just on my phone. Pretty cool.
You should upload that. I put mine on Instagram.
That was interesting.
I love that.
There was a jail. There was supposed to be a magician, but why is there a magician in a cowboy town?
Did we
I think
watch it?
there were horses that you could rent.
You could ride you could like rent, not really rent. You couldn't just like go off.
Oh, really?
It was more like, all right, you pay extra, we'll line you up, and the horses will follow
The leader.
the leader.
We'll take
which
you on
is
a mini tour.
which is boring. That's why I didn't spend the money.
Well, I'd argue that since the bus was stopping there anyway, it wasn't terrible. There was nothing really there, as well as much of a gig as they had going there. You'd think they'd invest more in a jail, a magician, some horses, a mechanical bull, and a gift shop. That's not even like close to the Grand Canyon. It was like 10 minutes difference between the main hub and the actual Grand Canyon. Kind of stupid.
Which one was that one?
Which one was it?
Yeah. The hub,
The hub?
Yeah.
The hub was the weird Indian giant teepee.
the tent thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Okay, I got you. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, the Grand Canyon West is on an Indian reservation.
Oh, should specify that.
Yeah, it's on an Indian reservation, and basically it's a sovereign nation, so they have their own police force and laws and rules. So if you cross that border, which is in Arizona, for this particular, I think it's I don't even remember the
Couldn't tell you.
I don't even know the tribe.
The Syracuse Nation.
It might be the Syracuse.
It's not.
No, it's the I don't know. I can't. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is once you cross that border and you go into their area,
Their land.
their land, if you get pulled over or arrested or whatever for anything, it's a huge deal trying to get that work. It's like getting arrested in Germany.
With no computers.
So yeah, that was a good time. I mean, I loved it. All those trips were great. We did the what's it called, the wheel, the link,
The
and
link.
the observation wheel that they just had built a few years ago.
30-minute ride.
I loved it. Did we do the first time we did it, we had gone over to Fremont,
Street.
and then like this was right before your flight, the day of your flight, and we did the 30-minute day ride with that old couple. It was like a Sunday,
Nobody was there.
and nobody was there. It's just you, me, and this older couple, and they didn't have the bar in there obviously because it was in the middle of the day. But then like
well, we picked the. We
And then
didn't
I'm
pay for the bar option.
right, but then we like I raced you over to the airport, and you had like 50 minutes until your flight, and we were so freaking out. You're like, oh my god, I'm gonna miss my flight. I'm gonna miss my flight. And you got to the gate with like 35 minutes to spare.
I was like, huh.
They blew you through. They're like, go. Like
No, they didn't. There was just
No, they pump people through. They're like, I don't care. Just you could blow up a plane. Just get the fuck through the stupid security. That's one thing about Vegas that I loved was their airports are all about moving. You got to get people through the
I
security.
vaguely remember the security officer and the line. Like I had my laptop at the time, and they were like, "Who cares? Just keep in your bag.
Just go, man. You're a white guy. Just freaking go.
Just go. Keep your shoes on. Let's keep this moving." No, take your belt off though.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Spank me with it while you walk by. My favorite moment from all those trips was probably the second. I think it was the second time we did the observation wheel. We did it. We did.
I don't remember doing it twice.
We did it
Kind of
twice.
blurred together then.
We did it twice, and then we did dinner.
In the wheel.
No, no, we did dinner in the. I think we went to Yard House.
10 by 10 wheel.
We went to Yard House, and then we went over and got. I think it was a Saturday night. I want to. It was a Friday or Saturday night.
See, the only time I remember going to Fremont, we went there with.
This was not on Fremont.
Oh, that wasn't?
Nope.
It was on the alleyway between the
Yep,
main
the
strip
link.
and Link. Okay.
That's what it is. You follow the link all the way back, and it kind of zigzags to the whatever the hell that thing is. High roller. That's what it's freaking called.
The high roller. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We didn't get the T-shirt. That's why. They had
Yeah.
gift shops for help us remember it, and we just didn't.
I don't know why people buy that crap.
So we'd remember it.
Well, we bought the pictures.
Did we?
Yeah, I did.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because the only picture you have is with you and Dad.
I bought one with you and me too. No, you know what I bought? We went to the aquarium too.
I remember going to the aquarium.
And then we took.
It wasn't.
You're like, the shark. You remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
So, what hotel was that?
That's Mandalay Bay.
Mandalay Bay. The bay, the aquatic theme. It's got the beaches as part of the
I
hotel.
wish you could have seen that. That's fun as shit.
We saw it through the window. I mean,
Well, I'd been there multiple times.
sure. It looked really cool from the inside out.
You're like, oh, that's like walking up to a party at a house and you staring in the window like, wow, that looks fun.
Yeah.
But I can't go in there.
Well, we didn't say we
And then
couldn't.
you'd leave.
We're just like we're dressed to walk around hotels right now. We're not exactly dressed to go to the beach.
Well, but you
so
literally,
maybe later.
You cannot get in there unless you're going to a concert. You know somebody that works there, or you're
beaches in
staying.
Mandalay Bay?
Yeah, or you're
Oh.
staying at the hotel.
Well, that makes sense. They don't want townies.
And I've done
coming
all
in.
those things. We rented a room there. One time, we had some friends that worked there, so they let us in. And then another time, twice actually, I went to a concert. I saw Sublime.
with Rome.
With Rome. They were amazing. Actually, that was our first or second weekend in Vegas, and John and I didn't know anybody. And we went out with my coworkers at the time, who were a lot older than us. No, not a lot older, but like in their early to mid 30s. And we met them there. And I remember we were sitting in my car, parked in the Mandalay Bay parking garage, and we're parked, and we're passing this half gallon back and forth, listening to Kesha, just like ripping, trying to get hype for this, because like I don't unless
Kesha for a Sublime concert.
well she gets you hype. She gets you hype. What I'm saying is that until you live
with Kesha.
in a house with Kesha, then you don't know partying.
Oh my God, we're back in 2012.
No, but like you don't know like I didn't really even know these guys. I'd worked for them for 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I had to have that level of liquid courage to stand there in a concert with them for 3 hours. So I was like, I got to have a little bit of a base kind of thing. John took that to the next level, like beyond. He was pretty intoxicated by the time we left. We finally like stopped. We walk in there and they have like these. So I don't know if for those of you that ever been to Mandalay Bay, they have the beaches actually are sand, and the concert was on the other side of the. They built this stage in the water, in the pool.
Wow.
So you could stand in the water up to about like your knees. Everyone's dressed up, but like people wearing shorts and stuff. Or you could stand in the sand, but no one has shoes on. Or you can like lay in the sand and, and you just listen to the music.
So your shoes get stolen.
It's essentially what you're doing is it's like if you were to go to Florida and watch a Jimmy Buffett concert that's on the beach.
Cool.
But it's in the middle of Vegas where there's no water. It's the same.
Trying to capture that.
Yeah, it's the exact same feeling. So he and I drank a lot before we go in there, and then we went in there, and we ordered these. We ordered these two. What are they? The Mike's Hard? No, not the Mike's Hard. They're called those strawberritas.
Okay.
But they, they come in those little tiny like 8-ounce cans. Vegas
Do they
said,
still sell those?
yeah. But you know what I'm talking about? The little tiny little cans. It's not a normal 12-ounce can. It's like a normal.
Because it has a lot of
It's got
alcohol in it.
I think it's 10%. I don't know what it is.
It's more than
It's
a
a lot.
beer.
So Vegas said, fuck that. We're going to triple that. And they give you a can that's like this tall for like $15. It's literally like 4 of them in one can. And we ordered 2 each. By the middle of the concert, John had finished one. I had finished one. And he was so drunk, he couldn't even finish the second one. And we finished the concert, and I had to like carry him back to the car. Well, actually, so what we did is we walked with my bosses or coworkers at the time back to the car. We get him in the back seat. He's gonna drive us over to our car on the other side of the parking garage, so we'd have to walk because it was closer. And John's leaning up the window, like throwing up down the side of the car of these people that I've been working for two weeks. And I'm like, you motherfucker. And then what ends up happening is we get out. I get him over in my car in shotgun, and I'm gonna drive us home. I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I can do this. So I'm gonna take us home. And he has thrown up all over the side of the car, and I have nothing to clean it with. And I feel so bad. I just took my shirt off, and I cleaned his car with my shirt. So there's no puke on it. He's like, you don't need to do that. I'm like, no. I need to do this. So then I drove home.
Shirtless.
I'm like, and we have the windows down. It's like July 4th weekend. So it's hotter than hell, even in the middle of the night.
Wow.
It was like 100 degrees outside. We're sweating our balls off, and I have the windows down just so he can.
So he can.
He can like get that breeze in the face.
Oh, okay.
And there's like a wadded up T-shirt with puke all over it in the back seat of my car.
And you're just like,
that was a great first. I mean, there's a ton of stories that I've got from that, but like it was just one of those first experiences that really tied in the whole 3-year experience for me. But that was
yours.
That was mine. You weren't part of that, but
no. But
we did a lot.
Doesn't
of
necessarily mean.
Did you ever get sick when you were there?
I mean, I got sick when we drank on Lake Mead.
But that's at the end of the night because we were very drunk. I slept.
We were on the lake like all day.
Well, also that heat and the sun.
Yeah.
There's no clouds in the sky. It zonks you. It knocks you the hell out. You know what I'm talking about. It does.
I don't really think other than that, I can't remember a time where I was that sick out there. I remember getting like plane sick. Like
when you landed that.
It was
Ugh.
as someone who's been on a plane for 15 hours straight, I'm not a big plane guy.
Who is? All right, we're going to take a break. I'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Okay.
What is up? We are back.
Hey,
full glass of wine.
It's green this time.
Oh, that's fine. Is that a bad thing?
No.
I guess the recording's green now. So,
every week's a new week.
Second half of this podcast.
We're excited to be here. We're hoping you're excited too.
I am.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Or listening.
Watching. What are they watching?
Watching with your ears.
They're ear watching.
We're proud of you.
I'm proud of everyone. Always.
If you don't know, my name's Tyler.
My name's Kyle. Woo! Okay, back into the real conversation. Okay. Wee
Do you want to restart?
No.
Okay.
This is good.
You were going wee 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 wee.
Of course, this is the best part.
Which is the silent alarm for oh god, oh god, oh
that
god.
my dog is barking in the background and it
Well,
drives me bananas.
You can close our door.
Nah, fuck that. I'll get to it.
It'll limit the sounds.
Anyway, so any other trips that you? Okay? Let me ask you this. Let me
Okay,
ask
so
you
the
this.
transition that I was attempting to make before the break.
Okay, well, you get into that, and then I've got another question. So then, go ahead.
Well, now I want to hear your question.
No, well, fuck that. Just finish what you're gonna say. Sip and Nala. I swear.
If I had to if the original question was, what information could you give to what information could you give to your past self about trips you've taken to make sure the trips were better? Something along those lines?
Okay, this is an easy one. And it should be the case for anyone. If you're asking me.
No. I'm pointing out
Oh, okay.
the original question of the podcast. If we have one each time, that's the general aim. I'm saying that the one piece of information, the one piece of information that I would give myself in the past would be never, ever, ever take a flight over 10 hours, ever, because it will
How do you get to, like, let's say you want to go to Europe or where you went?
never, ever.
So just don't do it.
Don't do it.
That's not really an advice. That's like saying, like, just don't travel.
From my point of experience, flying overseas has got to be one of the most difficult times
I haven't
I've
done it
ever
since high
had.
school, so I don't
It is.
have like
Oh
a
my
good
God.
frame of reference mentally. I remember hating it.
I'm not saying I was awake for 24 hours, but you are fundamentally and psychologically changed for days
You got to think of it this way.
after.
Human beings weren't meant to travel at such great distances in such
Meant?
quick. Yes. So mentally, remember how they used to travel like across the country? It would take months and months, and they had to walk or ride on a horse. Now you can get to the other side of the world in like 8 hours. You're in you're not just like in another time zone. You're in like 6 or 7 over.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea what day it is, what time it is. It's like that's a mental.
I'm not
barrier.
I'm not even talking about jet lag being the issue.
Oh,
It's the imprisonment. It's the
Oh, that's horrible. Yeah.
it's sure you find something else. You bring something to keep yourself busy. A book, a game, etc. The movies on the back of
Attack
the
the
chair.
pilots.
You turn into a terrorist for the fun of it.
It's so fun.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh,
this
he's just
guy."
trying to keep himself busy. No, it's you physically come out after changed because how mind-numbing the experience is.
What year is it?
Well,
yeah.
It's like, is this ever going to end? And even though you physically do have a clock of when it's going to end, it's still like, oh God.
The best thing to do is like, especially on a long car ride. This is one thing that when I remember being a kid and we would travel to Alabama, and that's like a 9 or 10 hour car ride. I remember like feeling like my ADHD would just like kick in, and I just couldn't sit still. I would get so hyper and I so impatient. And then finally you're pulling in, you're like, thank God. But the
I'm not
older
even
I
worried
got,
about my mind. I'm worried
it's
about
one of those
my
things
ass.
about being like, you just got to be as you got to tell yourself going in, you're saying, all right, you've got to be calm, do something that distracts you, be patient. It's going to end, but you getting all hyper is not going to make it go by quicker. And that was a big transition from my younger years into my older years, because that very thing, you feel like you're just like imprisoned. You're like, I'm never going to get out of this car. I'm never going to get out of this plane. I'm
Drives you
stuck
a
here
little
forever."
insane.
It does.
And even if you tell yourself that, after the third movie in a row that you've watched and you still have 10 hours to go, you're like, oh God.
Will this plane make it? Is there enough fuel?
We're going to make it, but I might not.
I'm going to die here. I wonder how many bodies they cart off the planes at the end. He died from boredom.
From the amount of children slaughtered by their parents, I would assume many. We got another one. Wheel him under the deck.
Throw it in the furnace.
In
If
the
you-
plane furnace.
I'm pretty sure
the
if
one
you
where we
die
go-
on a plane, it's legal to just throw in a fire. No one knows.
You're over international waters.
It's fine. It's cool. Yeah.
The pilots are just like, eh.
You're dead. No, yeah. So that's one.
That's the biggest thing. So what was your question then? That was my transitory thing.
Mine would be to answer your question would be
It wasn't a question.
Well, your portion of that
Okay.
topic would be mine. You're saying that if you could tell your younger self this, don't travel those super long flights.
It was not to say it wasn't worth it,
But you're not
it
going to do
felt
it
good.
anytime soon.
but
It's an
the
investment.
recovery period
Yeah,
mentally, you gotta be.
You're jet lagged and tired and exhausted and mentally
It doesn't
over
just go away.
for 2-3 weeks. Yes.
Yeah.
Mine would be, and this is pretty, I think this is the most common answer. As much as I love to party and drink, the common misconception is that you got to go balls to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, when I went to South Padre my sophomore year of college, I went down with 4 friends in an SUV. We woke up at 4:30. We left the house at 5:30, and we pulled in to 7 a.m. 7 a.m. We woke up at 6, left at 7. We pulled into South Padre at around 8 a.m. the next day. We drove 24 straight hours with minor stops for gas
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
for minor stops and gas. But the point was that it was 24 straight hours of traveling. We didn't like stay at a hotel or anything like that.
How were the
Like,
people well rested enough to actually
you
take
weren't.
the
It was
wheel?
it was very dangerous. The point, not even that. That's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, and then you're there, and everybody is just so heavily intoxicated. And
From the car ride?
no, from just like the second you get there, we pulled
Oh.
in, we stood in line. We got our hotel. We got
The
our
South
condo.
Padre line. Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, so just a little background. Me and the 4 other people, we went through a travel agency.
Mm-hmm.
So it was almost like the trip I'm going to take to Cancun, where you're paying for the all-inclusive thing,
Sure.
is kind of like that, where you're paying a company that goes out and almost recruits people to come and do this trip. And the reason you do it is you get incentives for doing it. So we got 2 excursions to go, like either you go surfing or you go out on jet skis or whatever, or like or parasailing, whatever the hell it is. Like you get, that's part of your package. It's a cheaper rate, and although it's more money than if like you do it separately, it's a cheap. If you were to break it down, cost of what you're doing
Overall.
if you're gonna do it, if you were gonna do it anyway, it is cheaper. And it includes your room and all this other stuff. Quick side note: so when you sign up for this, you're guaranteed a hotel room for you and for the size of your party.
Sure.
Hotel room.
And they
So
don't
this-
specify.
They don't specify what hotels. Well, I think they tell you what hotel's gonna be in, but they when you enter in, you sign up and you pay and everything. You enter in a contest, you and everybody going on that weekend with that particular group, which is hundreds of people.
Well,
enters in
not every time. Just
no. So every week
what happened to you.
is happening to us. Well, it's like our group. So like there was, I think they said there was like 400 different groups that joined,
Yeah.
and they draw a name or a group out of a hat, and our group got drawn, and we got upgraded from a hotel to a condo that was just down the beach. So instead of being crammed all in the same room with the beds are all lined up together, we each had our own rooms in this fully furnished condo
Nice.
with a fully functioning kitchen, multiple bathrooms. It was amazing. So we pulled into our condo.
So the real bit of advice here is always win the
No,
competition.
my advice, I'm gonna get there, but my advice is this. It ties into this. So when you get there, we got there at we got to our, after all the paperwork and shit, and you go through the whole.
Sure.
We got there. We pulled into our condo at 9:30 a.m. We've been on the road. I'm so cracked out on no sleep. I'm just I don't know what's what. I'm so out of it, but I'm ready to go. We all get ready. We get our swim trunks on, and we start drinking at 9 a.m. 9:30 in the morning, and we don't stop till a week later. You're either sleeping or drinking for a week straight. And that's my advice to my younger self would be take time off on some of the days. Don't go balls to the wall every single day. And the reason I say this is because the last day I was there, my body was so tired of alcohol. I was throwing up black the last day I was there. Blood.
This is another story within itself.
Yeah, which is so basically just take it a little. You can party, you can have fun, but that whole last day I was there, We cleaned up. I remember walking. We had to wake up at we had been out until 4 o'clock in the morning, and I remember waking up, and we had to clean the whole condo, and everything. And I'm taking the trash out, and I got maybe 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep. I'm exhausted. I'm hungover. It's just it's magnifying the hangover just from multiple days. You're just pushing it, and then all of a sudden it hits me all in one day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm carrying the trash out, and it smells like baby shit. And I'm walking the dumpster, and I'm like hanging out to the side, and I just projectile vomit all over the parking lot. And there was nothing in my. It was horrible. So what I'm saying, I guess
it's terrible because you're like wrenching nothing.
You're like, ugh, and then I keep puking. I'm just like, this is the worst. And then people always say like puking is, oh, I feel so much better.
You can rally.
No, there's
no
that's
rally.
fine if you have when you've been doing it for 7 straight days. There is no rally. Your body cannot. You are pushing the limits of what you can do as a human being.
Maybe that just makes you old. You're not necessarily.
I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
20 years old. That was almost 7 years ago.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So, anyway.
And it's still affecting you.
Yeah. No, and it's a great story. It was a great experience. It really taught me to know when to stop. I learned a lot from it. I had a blast, but then
now
looking
you're just
back,
scared.
no, I've just never pushed myself to that limit ever again. I'm like, I don't need to slam another one. I can just give me the water. I'm gonna go drink a little bit of water before we go to sleep, kind of thing. But it was a great trip, and that would be what I would tell my younger self would be that. So, I mean, what was the thing you were going to transition into?
I already did it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
The flight. I mean, I've never been a huge car ride guy. I guess I don't really have that much of a problem with the flight necessarily. They're really quick, especially if you can fall asleep.
Of course.
I hate car rides immensely.
Me too. Even just like when we went to Michigan 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I force myself to sleep just so I don't have to.
You don't have to be conscious
during the trip. I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Even having my own music on, we had some good conversations in the car, but
Sure.
it was just I was so tired.
You don't want to have to entertain yourself consciously
no,
for 4 hours.
God, it was horrible. But yeah, so Cancun's coming up. I'm pumped. I'm definitely gonna be talking about that after the trip. We'll have a lot of good stories after that, I'm sure.
It'll be good.
I'm sure. So my question, we'll finish up with this real quick. What is one trip that, let's say for spring break, the sake of this,
So
a spring break trip, let's say in this spring you get off next week? Let's say you were going to go somewhere.
I have a week and a half, and then I'll be off for about 10 days.
Okay, so for that, let's say you plan this better. Let's say it's December 1st. You're like, okay, I know I'm going to have those 10 days off. What's a trip you want to take during this spring break?
Well, my intention was to save up enough money to make it to Reykjavik in Iceland. It's the capital of Iceland.
What?
Yeah, because it's beautiful. But
with who?
I don't know, myself, I guess.
Well, holy hell.
Yeah. Big issue being, I don't really know what to do once I land by myself, because I don't think I'm an outgoing enough person to not so much like, oh, you're gonna get mugged, raped, and die, but like
in that order.
What are you gonna do while you're there? Like, you can be in a hostel. Been in a hostel, not that bad. You can get shit stolen from you. You could still probably make it home just fine, but most of the stuff there seems like a group experience, not like drinking, but like experience the culture and look at these amazing sights together, which wouldn't be necessarily great alone, but if you're going to see sights, seeing sights is better together with other people, I believe. At least I feel.
So then why wouldn't you... Okay, I'm talking ideally.
That is my ideal case.
But what I'm saying is, are you saying ideally alone or ideally with a group of friends?
Ideally with a group of friends, but not everyone else is in a position to take a trip on the same week.
This is hypothetical.
Most everyone takes...
You could say you're going to go there with a Hooters girl. Like, what do you want to happen?
I think that's the next trip I want to make. That's the next trip I'm aiming to make.
And do you know how much that costs?
It's about $1,600.
That's nothing.
It's not that bad.
That's everything?
About.
Is that
depending on how far
flight, room, for how much, for a week?
For about...
How long is that flight?
I don't actually remember.
How long is that flight?
Reykjavik is in between us and England.
Okay, so it's not maybe 7 hours, 8 hours,
7 to 10.
depending on the winds.
I don't really know. I don't remember it's probably more than it
I'll look
seems.
it up. Yeah, that's awesome. I'd do that. That's sick. One thing I want to do, like the kind of along that same line, it's a super far. Before I turn 30, I plan on going to see Australia.
See, I'm not really that interested in seeing Australia.
I am. Everybody that I know that's been there says they can't wait to go back. They say it's the culture, the people.
Anything is better than here.
No, but like seeing that particular, like the weather's nice. There's stuff to do.
Ooh,
there's
the
a
weather's
beach.
nice.
There's spiders that are as big as your face and they can kill you. Like that. Kind
Ooh, koalas have knives.
the koalas mug people. It's pretty intense. Like that. I'd love to fight a koala. I'm like,
Kangaroos.
give me my
Wrestling
money.
match. Just flip out a switchball like,
Yeah.
let's do this, koala.
Oh,
and if you
shit.
win, you get his jewels.
Everyone knows that koalas keep jewels. And, that's a common thing in Australia. So yeah, that's what I would do. But
The 30-hour plane ride is the thing that would keep me from going there.
I think there's a
There's a
layover.
layover. You think there's a layover?
New Zealand.
No. You pay for the direct flight. You go above and beyond.
Well, I don't think they have one. I don't think it's physically possible to take a plane that far from India,
Spaceship. They go up into the stratosphere and come back down.
and you land.
They go they go straight
It's
up
30 grand
into
a
space
person.
and just tip the plane and go straight down.
Oh, it's still a plane. It's not even a spaceship. We're going up.
Everyone's like, ah! It only takes an hour.
It's light speed.
Welcome to Australia.
Whoa,
You
we're
almost
here.
died.
Your hair's burned off. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I want to do. 100%. Well, this we're gonna tie this up because we got to head out for the evening. It was a short episode with just Tyler and I, but thanks for listening. If you did, next week we don't know what our topic is, but if you do stick around, it's gonna be fun. I know that. We love you all, and
We
see you next
love
week.
you all.
Yes, of course. All right, bye.